So it's as the world turns with the Philadelphia Eagles again. And I was thinking today as people were arguing, and the morning show was asking Nick Sirianni about the Jalen Hurts reports that came out of his facility earlier today, that for the organization that we all agree, to a man agree, is the best organization in Philadelphia, one of the best organizations in sports, that is the Philadelphia Eagles. The last 2 weeks for the Philadelphia Eagles as an organization that's supposed to have this great culture have been embarrassing and frustrating. And these are 2 weeks where they have won 2 big football games. A culture and as an organization has been embarrassing. Supposed to be the gold standard with the best culture. So this great culture that we have, this gold standard, has a wide receiver who they can't get to stop complaining publicly about the offense. On Twitter, on Instagram, on Twitch, so much so, they were at such a loss to get him to stop doing it. They did some dog and pony show meeting in front of the media so everyone could see it, and then leaked the details of this meeting to everybody so they could say that he promised he would stop doing it. And they were so at a loss to get him to stop doing this negative thing for the team, they threw the ball to him 10 times in the first half just to make him happy, whether it was good for the team or not good for the team. An 8-2 football team does something just to shut the wide receiver up rather than doing the right thing for the football team. This is the best team in the organization. And what I would tell you about the AJ before we get to the next thing is, if he is being so disruptive that you can't help but change your plan to make him happy, then send him home. Because that's what a team with a good culture and a good organization does. Send him home. You're not part of this. And then we come in after winning another football game against the Detroit Lions, and we get leaks, once again, from the organization. I know everyone wants to yell at D. Gunn about it. It has nothing to do with D. Gunn. He's been giving it. Leaks from within the organization that the reason the offense isn't good enough is because of their Super Bowl MVP quarterback. The quarterback that they just spent the last 2 years telling everyone, don't concentrate on the things that he doesn't do. Why don't you talk about the things that he is good at? The guy that is a Super Bowl MVP, that everybody doubting him has to shut up. You are so worried about covering your own ass because the offense isn't good enough that you throw the quarterback under the bus. This is the culture that is supposed to be really, really good. From under the nose of the head coach whose prime responsibility is culture. Is that we have a great culture. Does the AJ thing with the meeting with the owner in front of the media, does that seem like good culture to you? It doesn't seem like it to me. Does coaches or whoever the hell is complaining about what's happening in NovaCare or the frustration with the quarterback so they don't get blamed for why the offense is good? Does that seem like good culture to you? And I know you would say to me, well, it's not Nick doing this. And I don't believe it's Nick doing this. But I'll tell you what. If Andy Reid was the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, this stuff wouldn't happen without him saying it's okay. There wouldn't be leaks from within the meeting room. There wouldn't be leaks about the quarterback. There wouldn't be leaks without the wide receiver. All these sorts of things, they wouldn't be happening. And this is supposed to be the gold standard. The thing that we are most proud of in Philadelphian sports is the Philadelphia Eagles. And their play on the field, while it could be better, they're still 8-2. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. But from a culture standpoint, from an organizational standpoint, this stuff is embarrassing. And it can't happen. I don't see another team in the NFL that is having as much success on the field as the Eagles are, that are so busy trying to not get blamed for what's wrong, that they're leaking stories to the media about this one and that one and this one and that one and this one and that one. You want accountability. That's what this entire organization is supposed to be about. Nick Sirianni, accountability. The Eagles have to hold themselves accountable right now because it's the Eagles' house that they cannot control. It's coming from within their own house. And you can be mad at what the message is from D. Gunn, but you can't be mad. It's not his message. It's not Seth Joyner's message. The A.J. Brown stuff, it's not our message.
No, that's clearly A.J.'s message.
Yeah, that's A.J.'s message. Yeah. And I just, for a team that is supposed to be so good at this sorts of stuff, that is supposed to be so good at culture, so good at organization, that the gold number 1 in the end, not just in Philadelphia, but in the NFL, this has been an embarrassing 2 weeks. And they have to get their house in order because I'll tell you what, if they don't clean this stuff up, the blame, imagine if they lose a game, Ike.
Wow.
Imagine if they lost that game 17-16.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or the game before. Imagine if they lost it 13-10 and they don't have "we're winning" to lean on. Imagine how much the cover your ass stuff coming out of the NovaCare facility is going to be. Not my fault, not my fault, his fault, his fault, his fault, offensive line's fault, the quarterback's fault, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, it's embarrassing. And if they don't get it in line, I promise you, wins or no wins, this thing will spiral out of control.
Whew. Well, you said a lot there, Spike. I don't know if I disagree with anything you said. You said a lot there. Right. I don't know if I can disagree with anything you said. And the key word for me that hits home and resonate is the embarrassing. That's what resonates with me. Former player, Eagles fan, flag carrier, green goggles. You know, that's what I felt yesterday when this report came out and this stuff came out. I'm embarrassed by this. Because you're absolutely right. Instead of worrying about not taking responsibility and accountability for your individual selves and the parts that you're playing in your sort of unhappiness or not meeting the standard, frustration, status that you have, well, look in the mirror. Instead, we're pointing the finger. You know, and accountability is something that Coach Sirianni is always preaching. You hear the players say, hold each other accountable. This doesn't feel like accountability. This feels like finger pointing and blame placing. That's what it feels like to me. You know, things aren't going well for the offense, and now it has to be, well, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. I was listening to the midday show earlier, and a caller called in, and, man, I don't know if I disagree with anything he said. His premise was, well, why aren't we focusing on the offensive line? Why aren't we focusing on the fact that we can't get separation and man-to-man coverage? Why aren't we focusing on play calling at times isn't necessarily ideal? Now it's the quarterback's fault. It's the quarterback's fault because he won't erase or cover up all of the other inefficiencies that are going on. The offensive line is not playing well this year. They just aren't. They aren't playing to their own standards, which doesn't allow Saquon Barkley to be the player that he was a year ago. The changing in the play caller, I should say, isn't necessarily without its rough spots at times. In other words, Kevin Patullo has had some good moments. He's had some good things. He's done some good things. But there's also been some head scratchers in there and wondering what's going on with the play design. This doesn't absolve Jalen from his own responsibility in this and contribution to their struggles. The receivers, primarily our number one receiver, him being frustrated because he's not more of a part of the offense. Well, I don't know how much more a part of the offense can they make you without hurting the offense as well. So all of these things matter. And to have this stuff come out about the guy who is the central figure in most of the things we do and what we hope to do, to not have support behind the guy versus we're trying to put it on him, that doesn't sit right with me. And I'm not the biggest listen, I'm not defending Jalen at any and all costs. That's not what I'm doing. But I also know it doesn't feel right to me. And the whole blame game, and now we want to shift it to this, doesn't feel right to me. It feels like, well, we want to make him the scapegoat. Doesn't mean he can't play better and do things differently, but he is essentially the same quarterback he's been. He essentially is. We've had these debates. We've had these arguments. This is why folks will say he's not a top 10 quarterback or he's not a top 5. Like, these things have always been there.
It's been the same thing.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
It's been the same thing there. And so while I've come to accept that and appreciate it, because the winning is what ultimately matters to me. That's what ultimately matters to me. I don't like this idea of we're going to shift everything to now this guy is the reason why the offense isn't playing well and it's all his fault. He doesn't block. He doesn't run routes. And because he wants to take care of the football and he views that as, you know what, as long as I do that, I'm going to give us a chance to win games. We got a good defense. we're not trailing by double digits to where it has to be placed on my shoulders, we'll make plays late in the game, winning plays to win football games. I'm not saying that's not frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there isn't room to improve and get better as an offense. What I am saying is the idea that it appears that from the inside, somebody is trying to shift this on him and place it on him is foul to me. That's foul to me. I'm not mad at D. Gunn. Love D. Gunn. Been knowing D. Gunn since I got here. He's always been an upstanding, first-class journalist, reporter. He doesn't make up stories. He's not looking for to sensationalize something. And so the source that he has relied on to give him this information, it must be a credible source in his eyes. But the message is coming from inside.
Yes, that's the point.
That's the point.
215-592-9494. Are you worried about this sort of spiraling out of control?
And I am worried about that. That'll be what sinks us, Spike. Not the opponents. I'm not worried about any opponent. I'm worried about self-destruction. Inside, from within. That's what happened to the first-time Super Bowl winners.
Yes, it was inside.
It was from inside.
And the last thing on this is whether any of these things are right are not a defense for them coming from within the organization. Whether AJ is right or not.
No, you're supposed to band together.
Yes. Whether
protect each other.
Whether coaches are frustrated with Jalen or not, maybe they are. Maybe they wish he threw it better.
Sure,
maybe they are.
We all get frustrated at times.
Yes, absolutely. But to publicly let me complain about Jalen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let Philadelphia complain that AJ's not getting the ball.
Right.
Trust me, we will.
We have
Give us a day.
Yeah. Yes.
Give me a day.
Absolutely right.
Give me a day. You make me defend Jalen. What the hell? Where are we?
That's why I feel good. Yeah. I'm like, oh, Spike, you on this side of things.
But you're right,
though.
It feels stupid.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.